Hey everybody, this is Bo Sanders, and I am still on a high from our Easter celebrations. It was so great to be together both online and in person for both Good Friday and for our Easter morning celebration. Just wonderful. Hearing your voices sing and everything that came out of that was just amazing. What a treat to have a full house, to pull out extra chairs and put them in the space so that everybody had a seat. It was quite a week of celebration. And the only problem is that I forgot to hit record. Just with everything that was going on, I just forgot to hit record. And so normally in the week that follows a service, I put out a highlight video and it goes to the podcast as well, which allows people to just get a sense of and if they missed anything, to catch up on the theme. But I don't have that. And so I thought I would just take a moment to recap the sermon, because I am getting more positive feedback on that message than I have on a message in a really, really long time. And it seemed to have resonated with folks. And so I thought that I would just do a quick recap in case you wanted to visit it later or sit with the concept. So we were playing, our entire service was built around the theme of both sound and silence. And we were finishing up a book, Naked Spirituality, that we've been going through. And it took us from New Year to Easter and allowed us to focus on 12 words over a 12-week period, to sit with them. And it was just a really powerful experience. I think it was a really good journey, especially because when it started, we were online only. And then it helped us to transition to being a hybrid, both in person and online, but to still have a theme that held everything together. Well, we came to our final word was on Easter morning. And the thing is, it wasn't a word at all. It was the absence of a word. It was just three little dots, the ellipsis. It was a waiting or a pause or a recognition that more would need to be said. And I really thought, how has that become an Easter message? Because Easter is normally like one of our loudest Sundays. We started with the song, "Up from the grave he arose with a mighty triumph for his foes." That's one of our big songs. This past Sunday morning, we sang, "Christ the Lord is risen today, hallelujah." It's a big song. It's a very loud Sunday. It's our triumph, it's glory, it's celebration, it's resurrection and new life. So what do you do with that? And I found it actually pretty easy once I rounded the corner on the fact that when God reveals God's self, there's something unique that happens in the way we try and name God. So there's a famous story where the question is asked, who should I say sent me? And the answer that comes from the voice of God is a sound. It's the sound of breathing. Now, we run into a problem because in the Jewish religion, which we inherit this understanding from, you don't speak the name of God. It goes unspoken out of respect. So when it comes into the text, what happens in English, from Hebrew to English, is that it becomes YHWH, which you shouldn't say. You don't say that. So then in English, Protestants and Christians have started saying Yahweh, which is, I'll be honest, a little grotesque, a little, It's clumsy at best. It's grotesque at worst, I guess. It's oof. Not, I don't think how that's supposed to go. So then another thing that happens is in Hebrews, you take the vowels from Adonai, which means Lord. You transpose the vowels over to the YHWH, and it becomes Yahovah. And that's where we get Jehovah from. So you'll sometimes see it written out in English that way, or you'll see the YH or a VH is what it sounds like, because the Hebrew alphabet is a little different than the English alphabet. It's all very unhelpful, if I can say that, because names are like backpacks or suitcases that we pack meaning into, and then we can carry them around with a little handle and we feel like we got it. But this name of God is not a name at all. It is the sound of breath. It is breathing. It's the untranslatable, if you will. Breath is actually a really helpful way to talk about God, because our earliest story that we get in the Genesis account, God breathes life into humanity, into those early humans. Then later on, in Pentecost, 50 days after Easter, God breathes life into the church through Spirit, and that's Pentecost. It's the church's birthday, some people call it, but it is when life comes to the Gentile church in our story. Jewish first, and then eventually we are grafted in. And then on Easter, we have a tortured and crucified body from Friday night, Good Friday, that has new life breathed into it. So breath is an interesting way to sort of conceptualize or frame our conversation about God. Now, we know anytime we try and name God, we know that we're just building these little idols out of the sounds and concepts and word pictures that we have. So when we call God Father or the Almighty or something, we know we're going to come up short. We know that it has built-in limitations. So what I propose is this, that the name of God is life itself. God is life. And that your life and my life are within that life. They are both a gift and a grace, if you will, both from the same Greek word. And that as we breathe, we participate in the life of God. That this is the prayer of existence. This is being itself, maybe. And so for all of our words that we fill up with our prayers, it is the breathing that lets us participate in creation itself. It is the high tide and the low tide, the full moon and the new moon. It is birth and death, summer and winter, springtime and harvest. That the name of God is life itself. God is life. And that participating in it is as easy as breathing. That a tree, simply by being a tree, the psalm tells us, declares the glory of God. It worships, if you will. And that a whole life lived this way, you being you, all that you were made to be and have potential to be, by being, by breathing, worship. And in a sense, that is a life of prayer. I thought on Easter, it was important for us to realize that the message of new life, of life itself, is the good news, is the message of God to the world. And so it takes a little bit of pressure off and allows us to just breathe a little bit, to catch our breath maybe. And in the sound and in the silence, both. They belong in the life of faith. So I hope that that idea resonated with you at some level, or maybe you found it interesting or intriguing. If not, that's fine. You can comment and question and express your concerns. It is an ongoing conversation, but I really have enjoyed this series of Naked Spirituality. I'm really glad that we did it. And I thought it ended really well and sort of poetically on Easter morning. So thank you for the feedback and for the honest reflections and even some pushback. I look forward to this new series we're entering into about Easter people. There are 5 Sundays in May, and all 5 weeks we have really good conversations planned. Some are going to be at the big table, some are going to be at the communion table, and some will be at the coffee tables. I hope that you will come and join us. I look forward to seeing you there, both online and in person.